Normally I just start with a quick little good evening, but apparently I have a song for everybody that kind of fits the mood at the moment. Courtesy of Tom Petty, the song is Free Fallen. We welcome you to another therapy session on Pucknology Post Game, Pucknology After Dark. I don't even know the name of the show anymore. I am Eric Kura, PuckGuy14 on Twitter, alongside the one and only AJ Strong. My fellow twin, it looks like we are revealing our teal tonight.
Yes, we are.
It's one of those nights where everything's just falling apart right now, and
I broke this up because it's like the last good memory I like remember having.
I don't know. In case you're just joining us, and we welcome those of you who were also watching Road to the NHL Stadium Series. Sharks lose 5-1 to the best team in the NHL in the Nashville Predators. Kind of saw this coming, kind of didn't. Pekka was unbelievable, and the Sharks weren't really.
To say the least.
Yeah. AJ, I'll just let you go off on your thoughts of tonight's game.
No, I mean, I thought they started off well. Obviously, they got the first goal by Irwin, of all people. I mean, who the hell saw that coming? First thing I saw that, I tweeted out, the one person who chose Irwin in the Sharks pick 'em, collect your puck. They once again the power play does them no favors. Special teams really did them no favors. They got killed in the face-off circle tonight. I believe 36-24. Particularly Thornton looked really bad, missed some really key face-offs. Nieto had a couple big bonehead moves that led to I know of one that led to a goal there. In the first, a lot of people, of course, want to blame it all on Stalock, and which I don't understand. Stalock isn't the guy who gets to start 70 games a season. You can't, how are you supposed to find a rhythm when you only get to start once every 5 to 6 weeks? He did make some good saves, but the first one, I mean, for Christ's sakes, he had 3 people screening him, Thornton being one of them. The first 3, even Baker said, what are you going to do? No one's going to have those. Those last 2, those were a little tight, especially that 4th goal. I think Stalock actually should have had that one, but who knows what is going on. Maybe it's the deadline date coming in. Maybe it's the Epics crew following him around, or the pressure of the Levi's game. Who the hell knows? But, story of the game essentially is, or at least in the last 24 hours, is tweets about Niemi being on the so-called trading block. We get Justin Braun back. We send Tennyson down in order to make that move. Kennedy comes back in with Desi in the box, of course, along with the ever-lovable John Scott. And then, once again, Mueller is also in the box to make room for Hannon for some reason. So that's kind of it. McClellan talked about it in the post game. After that second goal, it kind of took the wind out of the sails, and they turtled, which apparently is the Sharks' MO lately. Can't remember. Honestly, when they got the first goal tonight, I honestly was wondering, when was the last time they scored the first goal in a game? I was having a hard time remembering because it seems like it's been so long ago. Did they score the first one against Arizona?
No. In fact, Arizona scored early in that game.
Yeah. So it just I don't know. and I keep hearing what's the coach from that famous coach from Indianapolis? The playoffs? Oh, Mora, right? Jim Mora Sr.
Jim Mora.
Yeah. So that's every time somebody starts trying to mention the playoff picture. Oh, and let's get into that for a second. The the so-called playoff picture.
Playoff.
Playoffs Sunday night going up against Tampa, second in the Pacific Division, looking okay. What a difference 5 days could potentially make. The Stars will be within 4 points going in on Thursday in Big D. And if the LA Kings win tomorrow in Colorado, the Sharks are going to be out of the playoff picture on that Thursday against Dallas.
It's
So, I'm sorry?
I was gonna say it's an amazing turnaround of how things can change so quickly, and it's in a tight race. I mean, let's be real here. It's all of a sudden when you lose 5 of your last 6, you lose 5 in a row at home, where you're supposed to be the dominant team, um, and you're just laying big fat goose eggs. Shout out to Darren Stevens. I think they call him Uncle Darren Stevens at Shark Stats, who was the one who put out the tweet that the Sharks have given up 5 goals in a game for the 12th time this season. Um, only there's only like a handful of teams ahead of them that have given up more. Uh, it's obvious they need defensive help, which makes everything what happened today mind-boggling by sending Matt Tennyson, who I thought was finally
Right?
was finally coming into his own. Now he was getting some consistent playing time. He goes to Worcester, and meanwhile, our personal whooping boy Scott Hannon, is still on this team. I still don't understand how at this point you need to put him on waivers or something, because I don't know. At this point, just go with Mueller, or even like you said before, you brought in Fadoon as a what is it, a two-way contract. Try to see what he can do with his playing time. It essentially puts in a sense that there is no defensive depth for this team. They basically have Tennyson now as their extra guy, as their essentially their number 7 guy, although he's got to go back to Worcester because they have no more roster spots for the team. It pretty much cements what they need most. If they were to make a move at the deadline, they need defensemen, and they're going to come at a premium.
There's no way they're making moves at the deadline for anything worth a crap. To me, and what's funny is, something popped up for a second. No, there's no way they're making a move. For me, the white flag was waved when they signed John Scott in the offseason. It was just kind of like, you let go of a Dan Boyle, you don't replace him. In fact, Hahn had brought up during the game that the Predators lost Suter last season, and they've had this kid come in and really step in and make the difference and be the guy to replace him. And, okay, who's the guy that takes Boyle's place from last season? Not to say that Boyle was huge towards the end of last season. We all know he was a little different of a player after the hit from LePerrier, but either way, the Sharks' defensive depth is non-existent. Looking at the numbers, what I was saying before about the face-offs, yeah, Jumbo Joe was a whopping 2 for 8 tonight in the circle. It's very un-Thornton-like. With regards to everybody going back and forth, let's be honest. Rene Pulick game of the ages out of his ass, and and it can all be done. We all remember Nabokov's debut against Patrick Watt in Colorado. People can have remarkable games. Ben Scrivens with Edmonton.
Right.
I mean, people. Wasn't there another kid? Well, hell, Grosnick in his debut shutout.
Mm-hmm.
So
or even we've seen how many times has Mike Smith or Jonas Hiller have stand on their head against the Sharks. It's one of those ones where you have some tough luck with it. At the same time, though, it's like, how many times do we have to have this go over and over and over again?
Absolutely. And with regards to Stalock tonight, like I said, I don't understand how you're expected to find a rhythm when you get a start. You start 10 games out of 63 or whatever we're at this point. Mm-hmm. But Stalock, if you look at the numbers, just in the last 5 games, Stalock tonight, put up an .865 save percentage. Well, you go back and average the last 5 games that Niimo's had, he's not doing much better. I think it's about .885. It's really not that much better, but you're paying him close to $4 million, whereas Stalock's getting about $800K. So and let's be honest, this defense has really been exposed the last 20 games or so. I mean, it's especially losing Braun obviously didn't help, and then you have Vlasic with zero depth. I just so that I keep on seeing that meme. The whole I can't even. It's and that I was saying back around Thanksgiving or whatever that I thought this was going to be the first season under Wilson's tenure that they don't make the playoffs, and like we had just mentioned, they could very well be on the outside looking in come tomorrow night without even playing a game.
I absolutely agree, and we have some comments on here already. We didn't even publicize. Use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark, let alone use our Twitter handles, which we both will have up right about now. There we go.
I noticed the Google chat isn't up in the normal window. I don't know if that's something that Chris turns on or something.
Right. If you're wondering where our third person is, Chris's paying gig has him traveling. I'm sure he's already arrived at his destination. Whereabouts are unknown. But kind of put this together myself, and it was kind of interesting to put it all together tonight without absolutely having no idea what to do. Anyways, you use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark, or at me, PuckGuy14, or AJ, which is AJ_Strong. A boy and his team would love for us to explain how. Let's see here. I'm trying to put down. I can't wait to hear you defend your reasoning behind Stalock being the team starter. You have your work cut out.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth about that.
Yeah, and I can't blame you on that show. It's one of those ones where, again, I think he got more starts. We were talking about this pre-show. He played in more games last season than he did this season. And granted, he has been injured a couple of times this season so far. But for real, it's like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and he also mentioned that he didn't endorse trading Nemo in any way. Now, I can't support that because you don't know what somebody out there is willing to give to you. If the return is something worth having, then yeah, you make the deal. Or if you don't want to trade Nemo, then why haven't you re-signed him before the deadline? What is your plan? Are you waiting to see who comes knocking at his door and try to make a deal? That's the thing that is, I guess, most perplexing to me is I thought there was a perfect time to maybe talk with Edmonton last season before the deadline, before they ended up getting Scrivens. I thought they could have been a pretty decent like I said, I don't know why they let Nemo get this far without either re-signing him or trading him. If he walks with the Sharks getting nothing, how do you explain that?
Well, absolutely. If you can't, and personally, I hope that Doug is on the phone with
Philadelphia?
no, well, Needham's agent, because if he's going to get a deal done, he needs to get it done now. If not, you can't go in without a deal and just say, well, we'll roll with him and take our chances. Well, you know what? He did the same thing with Ed Belfour years ago, and and some guy named Brian Campbell, which was supposed to be your already stud offensive defenseman.
Yeah,
So
I think Wilson's been burned too many times on rentals. I don't see him ever doing the rental thing again.
right, and speaking of Burns, I think he might be still a little gun shy on trading goaltenders after the Kiprusoff trade and how much that blew up in his face uh, that year. And yes, he got Vlasic out of the deal essentially, but I think there's a little bit of him being a little gun shy about trading a goaltender that could potentially bite your butt, especially if Nemo were to be traded within the conference.
Well, okay, so we're getting a something else from Joe on Twitter. It said, if Niemi had started Game 7 against LA, that trade would have been done. I'm not sure what trade he's talking about. And didn't Niemi start Game 7? Stalock started Game 6?
Right, Stalock started Game 6, Nemo started Game 7. So I'm
Yeah,
not
so
quite sure that that's all about. He also went on to say, send Mueller down to the AHL so he's actually playing. I agree on that wholeheartedly. I think
mhm.
he needs some pro playing time as much as Roy Summer would probably ruin his brain. Wave Hannon, just do away with it because there's no way in heck you're going to get any decent value, maybe a 6th or 7th round pick. And if you're going to trade Niemi with TK for picks if you want a defenseman. That's only if we're calling this a season, by the way. Again, I don't endorse trading Nemo in any way. I agree. It's got to be something pretty sweet uh, for the Sharks to pull off something. But at the same time, your value can't be too high that you're not going to get anything from them. Oh, and by the way, hello Yuki Sano. Yes, you are watching us now. We read them all. Why not, right?
um,
Oh boy.
well, with the deadline coming up, I'm interested to see what happens with the UFAs. I heard about Desi, heard about Shepard, heard about TK. What is going to happen? It's the whole thing about getting younger and the tomorrow team and rebuild. So if this is all part of the plan, I want to see the blueprints because I'm a little. When was the last time? I mean, they keep mentioning and talking about that the Sharks have essentially started, 8 rookies? I mean, kind of throw in Nieto and Hurdle in there because Hurdle didn't get a full season last year. I mean, when was the last time you saw a hockey team starting this much inexperience? I mean, what really did they expect other than getting these guys experience?
And that's the whole point: is how much youth do you want to roll with when your youth has still being in question as to what you have. Again, I refer to the um, Hockey News Future Watch from a couple of years ago, who ranked the Sharks dead last in what they have. Yes,
Hmm.
they they have gotten better with what they drafted recently in like Hurdle and maybe Nieto
Nieto,
and
Couture.
with all Couture was already in there, but the problem is that you're putting so much pressure on these kids so quickly to be a contender, um, which the fan base is expecting to have. Don't go in it to have just You know, oh, they're gonna get their time in the big club. It's gonna be okay. It's just wow, I'm just getting choked up about this. um, but you just can't have the guys be on the team for the sake of being on the team. Um, there's just a mad rush of how they have to be good to be on the team, let alone just throwing them out there.
Yep. And then a tweet that I did notice midway through the game. Now, I'm not a season ticket holder. Never have been. Usually, just pick up the games that I'm interested in, or I want to go see, or kind of a spur of the moment type of thing. So, I guess one of the season ticket holders tweeted out tonight. Not only is San Jose collecting the season ticket money early this season, and how can you blame them? Because look at what's going on with this team. I'm surprised they didn't try to start collecting right around the new year. But on top of it, they've raised the prices.
If they really,
Yeah, that's what he's reporting now. I haven't
oh,
I
boy.
haven't seen what the percentage is. I just how can you? Well, like I said, it's a case of they're collecting the money early because they're seeing apparently what is happening with this team. Why not try to collect it now and get them all in and get the money and run before the team just fizzles out? Because how can you explain to your season ticket holders that were okay with collecting the money, but you're raising prices? They were up 3-0. They tanked that, and then this season they don't even go to the playoffs. This has been the season known for not having more non-sellouts than sellouts this season, and you're going to raise prices? Are you for real?
And here's my question: do they just reduce prices slightly when the AHL team comes to town? I mean, it's got to be, yeah. Good question from L. Bryan just now. With a drop in Sharks attendance or season ticket sales, is there any kind of out clause for this franchise to move? Um,
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of, but again, I haven't looked at it. That's a very good question. If you've ever seen the movie Major League with Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger, this is right up the alley. Where the plot line was the owner, the quote unquote new owner of the Cleveland Indians, was trying to put a horrible team, a young horrible team that would lose so much that would knock attendance to the point where they were allowed to
Relocate.
relocate the team to Miami. Granted, there's no way in hell the Sharks are going to be moving to Miami. However, there is a great possibility that Seattle and Las Vegas are looking promising right now. Strangely, more than anything, that Las Vegas is looking more and more promising now. Not sure how.
I don't get the Las Vegas option only because it is such a destination town that if you're going to Las Vegas, I could just who would want first off, unless you're like the Johnny Manziel of hockey, who would want to play in a town where chances are in your own barn there's a good likelihood that there's going to be more fans for the other team than yours because the people are going to turn that into a destination thing where it's like, hey, let's go to Vegas for the weekend. We'll watch we'll go to the Sharks game, or we'll go gamble our hearts out on Friday night. We'll go to the Sharks game on Saturday night and then come back.
Well, yeah, and that's what's going on right now in like Florida, and not as much as it is in Tampa Bay or Florida or Arizona. How many times do we watch NHL Tonight with the lovely and talented Annie Petrillo and Catherine Tappan? Um, to the point where you're seeing more people celebrate an opponent's goal because their team just scored, as opposed to when the Coyotes or Panthers score, and especially in Florida too. Um,
No, I
but
completely agree with that. It's snowbird time. Everybody's trying to beat the storms, and they're going to go down there and they're going to shoot some rounds of golf or hit the water or whatever, and catch a little hockey for their team and go back and enjoy it. Yeah, I don't understand the Las Vegas option. At this point, to be honest, I don't understand why they would even consider expansion. You've got Florida there. They're what, averaging like 10,000 tickets sold. Look at San Jose right now. They're not selling out every game like they used to. I think expansion is ridiculous right now. Maybe relocation for a couple of teams. Maybe you put Florida and Quebec or what have you. But you got to be kidding me with expansion.
right, I really don't understand why the the league would expand when it still has the same problems that's had since the mid '90s when you saw the influx of teams just moving around, Quebec to Colorado, Dallas or Minnesota to Dallas, Winnipeg to Phoenix, uh,
Hartford to
Hartford to
Carolina.
Carolina. Yep. In,
Long,
in
long live the whale.
uh, oh, don't make me fire up Brass Bonanza. That's for sure. Um,
Well, and then Winnipeg moving and then coming back.
right, and then you see Atlanta with the problems they had. I mean, that was almost a partial destination team, and then they moved to Winnipeg. And you know what? I'm going to say this: if the Sharks don't make the playoffs, I'm more than willing to jump on the bandwagon for the Jets. I think that'd be an awesome story to see the whiteout return after almost a 20-year absence. Um, and how everything is in Winnipeg. You know, it is a compact arena like ours. Um, it gets loud. They would just go crazy over their team, and that's the passion I like. And that was a smart move on Winnipeg's part to get that team back. An owner that was committed in the long haul to get back there, because the guy had originally bought the or brought in the Manitoba Moose, took that over, pushed to get a NHL ready arena, not just like a small one like you would say in Stockton,
Mm.
and it eventually turned out all right. That's why I love that passion for Winnipeg.
Well,
L. Bryan says F the Jets. Well, right now, yes, F the Jets. Are you kidding me? We're going up. We're still up against 29 people, and yes, we are kind of doing
well,
like a masochistic edition of Pucknology After Dark.
this is the eulogy. Who are you kidding?
A eulogy.
Just about. I mean,
Do not make me go John Belushi on you right now.
who? Okay, let me just ask you this question and try to give me a uh, a response that will make any sense to anybody watching right now. You're the shark. You're the Sharks. Hasso or Tortoro, whoever's calling the shots right now. You've sent out. You've already announced that you're bringing in your AHA affiliate to play in the same barn as you.
Mhm.
The main team that you run tanked a 3-0 lead, pissed off a lot of the fans. That it took a lot. Clearly, the effects of which are being felt this season with a lot of non-sellouts. Now your team is in free fall, very likely to miss the playoffs. You're trying to collect season ticket holder cash early. You're raising prices, and I'm just trying to look at it from from that fan perspective of, wait a minute, you want to raise prices while you've put a less competitive product on the ice, and to top it all off, you're going to bring in a team that's going to compete for my dollar for hockey, to watch hockey, and at a significantly, reduced level. I'm sorry, but if the Sharks tank the way that they've been going, if this was next season, I'd already be looking at tickets for the AHL team to at least get a better look at what we have coming up the pipeline, rather than watching this tire fire of constant defensive miscues that keep hanging whoever's in goal to dry. And in fact, the third member of our squad, who's normally here, Chris, had a great point where he tweeted out the loud and clear message being sent to the team from McClellan by leaving Stalock in there is, it's not him, it's you.
Right.
It's the defensive miscues. It's in the lack of, it's another game where they can only muster one goal, maybe two goals like they did versus Tampa. But I remember I've been to this rodeo before where a few years ago the defense was so suspect that the Sharks started having problems scoring goals, primarily because the forwards were spending so much time trying to help out and cover the D that by the time they got into their own zone, they were already gassed and trying to get a line change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, and you saw that even some of that tonight, where was it? Nieto was trying to pass it up to Marlowe, I think, and he had already was gliding back to the bench, and left plenty of room open for Nashville to come in and score a goal.
Shepard got caught tonight too.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not just one person. It's not just the forwards. It's not just the defense. It's not just the goaltender. It's a team thing, and it's.
Well, it appears.
In the words of Scooby-Doo.
Well, you know what? Our esteemed colleague Chris has let us know that he's placing the blame on John Scott. It's all him.
Well,
one of the other tweeters, LB, has a great, fantastic idea, which means this will never happen. Is that the Sharks should offer a 2-for-1 season ticket package? Now, I'm assuming he's talking about some sort of deal. Yeah, some sort of deal between the Sharks and whatever. Can we just call them the Woo or the Hammerheads? Or how is it that, didn't they say that they were supposed to release the name and the something before the end of this month? Is that another thing that's going to be bullshit?
Well, my thing has been this. We have the game Thursday night. We have Stadium Series. Then from Sunday to Wednesday, we're off. I think somewhere in there we'll get the unveiling of what I hope will be the San Jose or the Silicon Valley Seals, which totally makes a lot more sense.
I can't see them using anything like Silicon Valley. I think it's going to be San Jose or California.
Well, I just think that California is just going to be too generalized.
Well, that's true.
Silicon Valley is
team, so yeah, minor teams always tend to use the cities anyway. So yeah, it's got to be San Jose.
It's San Jose or Bay Area, something like that, where they can get not just the San Jose part, but get the Bay Area going. After all, this Stadium Series game is trying to get a halo effect for the Sharks.
But okay, now let me ask you this: chances are the Worcester team coming in next season, the AHL team. Now, granted, if for some reason it takes off and they sell way more, because I think they're hoping on average to get like around 7,000 or something. Say for some reason they average 9.5, 10,000, and with the way the Sharks are tanking right now, I could almost see that happening. But I don't know. Can you call that team the San Jose anything if they're looking out 2 to 3 years that they're going to be in Sacramento or wherever, be it, I'm just throwing out random names. For all I know, Santa Cruz, Sacramento, Marin, wherever you decide to put them, can you actually call them the San Jose whatevers if they're going to change in 2 or 3 years.
Well, that's true. I mean, after all, the Sharks were the San Jose Sharks, and they played the first 2 years in Daly City.
So
So
it could be that they play here for 2 seasons as the Sacramento Hammerheads or whatever until their deal gets done wherever it ends up being. I'm just using Sacramento as a example, obviously.
Or heck, let's go with the trendy NorCal.
The NorCal, I don't know.
The only thing that's being the exception to that would be Stockton. The other part too is if this thing in San Jose doesn't work, and I'm sure the Sacramento Kings are going to be running their own building, could they try to put them in Fresno, which would make a lot more sense. You still have all the teams within the I-5 corridor for them to quickly grab and go and pick up from the league. But I mean, if the team is putting so much,
well, even if they're in Sacramento, you got the I-5 kicks through there, so.
True. What I'm thinking is that Sacramento would be the northernmost spot. You put them in Fresno, they're right in the middle of everything. But my point is that since the Sharks are putting so much emphasis on, I guess they're building new locker rooms for the team. The plan is to expand Sharks Ice again, although there have been rampant rumors about building a larger scale arena and around Sharks Ice, which I just can't see them doing. It would be 3,000 seat arena or something, I heard.
No, you know what would be perfect? It's another one of those in a perfect world. Okay, Eric, let me paint you a picture. Picture this.
Oh, okay. Can you get happy little trees too?
No. So, for shits and giggles, what if you move the San Jose Giants to where the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds currently reside, which is very close to where they're already at,
right?
And then you scrape Muni, and that's where you add on to Sharks Ice, and you just have that whole lower part of that block.
Despite all the tradition that's at good old Municipal Stadium, totally makes sense.
Which means it'll never happen.
Exactly. My guessing is that it probably would end up being right next to it. But then again, like a 3,000 to 5,000 seat arena, that's even small for AHL standards.
Do you have any idea how big the Stockton Thunder building is?
It's I think over 10,000. It's about 10 to 11,000. It's close to what the Cal Palace is.
Just probably not quite a shithole.
Right, and that rink is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I almost call it like a mini Staples Center, only it's nice and fan friendly and doesn't look like a hollow area in there.
Well, the San Jose AHL team that'll be playing here next year, they will be playing games against Stockton, right?
Yep.
Okay, well then you know what?
Stockton whoever's.
Yeah.
Because apparently the
ECHL
back. Right, the Thunder is actually in a state of thunder in Adirondack.
Okay, well then you know what? We might have to the three amigos or the four of us, we might have to make a trip up for a Stockton game. And we're getting a comment on Twitter that says the municipal stadium has been there since the 40s. That shit ain't going anywhere, which doesn't surprise me. And it's it could use a little couple upgrades here and there, but it is a cute, family-friendly hole in the wall place to go catch a game. And the price is right. and
Mhm. I
certainly
hear they
from
have awesome food too. I haven't been there.
it depends on what you like. They have a place, I forget what it's called, like something Mike's, barbecue Mike's or barbecue somethings. I don't know. It's out in left field or between left field and the third base area, but it's over in that section. That's where most of the outdoor food stuff is. I've had a couple things over there. A couple things have been good. A couple things have been not so good. But I mean, it's your basic ballpark food. And I know as a non-drinker, you don't care, but one of the funnest promotions that they do is the beer batter. So if they say they designate the third guy in the lineup as the designated beer batter, if that guy comes up and strikes out, beer's like half off or something for 10 minutes or so, and you should see the line that happens when it's like you literally see people like when the beer batter is up and the count gets to 0 and 2, people are going. People start getting up and start going down there. It's awesome. It's a really fun promotion. And then when you see that it's 0 and 2 and people are starting to walk down the steps and then the SOB gets a hit, you hear like literally like a huge like
Oh, come on!
you know, yeah, you asshole, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's,
I
it's
love
fun.
beer batter, onion rings, or shrimp. So that's
Yeah,
and
it's a
don't
fun
ask
experience.
why I don't. I just don't. So
That's- Hey, we're not here to judge. We're
no,
not here to
no,
judge you. We're here to judge the Sharks. That's what we're
that's right.
here.
Um, at this point, it's like, okay, we're over and done with the Nashville game. It's over. Look, we actually have smiles on our faces. I was pissed off earlier, so we're moving right along.
So cathartic. And I'm not even going to get into, I wasn't here for the Tampa Bay Pucknology after, so I'm not even going to get into that because I was there and had very nice seats, and that was, yeah. Let's just move on. Move on to
Oh yeah,
Dallas and see if they're still in the playoffs come Thursday or if they're on the outside looking in, which I predict they will be.
which is kind of interesting because tomorrow the Kings will play in Colorado. They get 2 days off, which means they'll probably just come straight from Colorado to Santa Clara. Meanwhile, the Sharks are flying probably pretty soon to Dallas, and then from Dallas on Thursday they fly back quickly, get home,
And
maybe
then they
get a
have
beer.
to, and then they have to be on the ice early. How's that work?
Right, I, right. I don't understand why, especially since how it works out. The Sharks get their media day practice at Levi Stadium at 3:30 on Friday. All this, mind you, is close to the public. I'm sorry. I will try to have a boatload of stuff for you because I'm going to media day on Friday. Bear with me. Stay on Twitter with Pucknology and my handle Puck14. I'll have pictures, hopefully some sounds and all that good stuff. You got an email,
Apparently.
apparently. But yeah, I think within the last 2 games, 10 goals against 3 goals for. You can't allow this to happen.
As a friend of
No,
ours would say, that's not good.
that's not good at all.
Not good.
I don't understand what's wrong with them. I'm Troy Clarity. Um, yeah, it's one of those things that you just are gonna go like, well, it's the defense, but like one thing I saw tonight in one of those mad scrambles that Renee had, Joe Thornton's literally in front of the net. He has an open net. He could have just shot on his backs or shot it in, no problem. No, he drop passes for the one timer.
There was a couple odd things tonight, but that
I mean, it's like, do you not want to score? I mean, it
I
was already bad enough we
just
saw a few years ago that we saw Thornton go on a breakaway. He looked back to try to find somebody.
whatever the opposite of puck luck is, that's exactly what happened to the Sharks. Man. I mean, there was so many bounces that if they just go an inch of the other way or something, this is quite a different game. It's Rene had one for the ages, and but he did get lucky on a lot of those. Those are the ones that they just bounced the right way for him. And unfortunately, the Sharks don't. They say especially when it comes to penalty calls and whatnot, that it all averages out in the end. Well, I'm really waiting for the averages when it comes to bouncing pucks, for it to bounce the Sharks' way. Like, I'm waiting for that pendulum to start to swing the other way, because it's damn sure not in the middle. And I know everybody would say that, hey, dude, take off the teal-colored glasses. But you think of all the time. I mean, just last season alone, how many times did Wingles put in a goal that was waved off? When you go back and look at it, it was clearly a goal. I think at least 3.
We had 3 or 4 times, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just in that alone, I mean, I'm just, it's so funny. Remember the season, it was either 2 or 3 seasons ago, that I think you probably heard 3 or 4 times per game the intent to blow rule. It's funny that you don't hear that anymore. And there was even a time tonight where there was an early whistle. It was a quick whistle. The puck popped out. It was on Pavelski's stick, and he still, even though it would have been blown dead had it gone in, I mean, I'm just, at least they got rid of that, but I'm so waiting for the puck luck to swing for the Sharks. And interestingly enough, on the Twitter machine, did you catch this tweet from Pollock of the video board at Levi's?
No.
It was very odd. He tweeted out a photo of the Jumbotron, and they're showing the Jumbotron. The big portion of it obviously is going to be them playing the television feed of the game. Off to the side, it has a list of players on the ice, and it has, it's got the 6 names for one team, the 6 names for the other, and it has the 2 logos, LA and then San Jose.
Right, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, the player names are from Nashville, Minnesota. What the hell is going on there?
And not just that, if you look at the players, most of them are not with the team. Cam Hughes is in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Mine's in New York. Leguan's in Ottawa now. Joel Ward's been with the Capitals at least a few years now.
Well, at least they got Rene right.
Yeah, they got Rene right. I mean, they got Koivu right for Minnesota. And Miettinen, I don't even think Shane Knight's in the NHL anymore. Backstrom, in a way, kind of the same thing.
Yeah, well, they did. People did point out to him that there was a lot of players that were either gone or whatnot, and whatever, or somebody went back in time, one or the other.
Yeah, it was. That's interesting. And if you haven't looked at already, if you go online to see them work on it right now, I think that the video camera goes on all night, and it's kind of interesting how it's coming together right now. It's looking really good. Now the media skate is on Thursday, which means they probably need to they would have the ice ready to go by tomorrow morning to give it a good run on it. But if it weren't for this team, just shooting the crapper lately, I'd be getting really psyched up for this game. But in any sense, you kind of have to get excited for this game now, because it could be the deciding point of a playoff spot.
I just don't feel like that. I feel.
Wow, thanks for the motivation there.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, man. It's just looking at this, I'm like I said, I relegated it. But I entered that zone back in November that this was going to be the season that they don't go. So it's hard for me to I'm going to be excited to watch the quote unquote pageantry and the spectacle of it. But I have zero hope of the Sharks. I'm not going to do the prediction thing, but another 4-2 loss wouldn't surprise me, unless they get that puck luck or something. Or the sun blinds the Kings. I have no idea what.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm kind of a little more interested in, and I don't know if Epix is going to follow any of it or if there's going to be any media coverage whatsoever, but Brody was mentioning on radio that I guess there's going to be there's a decent amount of functions that usually happen like the days leading up to the Stadium Series game, but because of the quirkiness of the NHL schedule makers that always seems to bite the Sharks in the ass for some reason. A lot of these things have to take place afterwards. So I guess there's going to be some small minor league games or high school game or something. Who knows? But they said that they were going to be using it. There was going to be a few things that they used it for, and once the game on Saturday night was over.
Right. There's definitely been talk that there's going to be some type of skate, and they're only limiting it to like a certain amount of people. I don't have much info on that. I know that they were keeping every session to like 200 people, and I believe it's I don't want to say demanding, but very, very highly suggesting a $75 donation to the Sharks Foundation to do so.
Wow. It's not enough to raise the season ticket prizes next year, huh?
Well, you gotta break even, right? Just like you gotta break even.
Wow! Remember the good old days on I forget the website.
When we had a good president and CEO running the franchise. No, it's amazing.
I'm saying I forget the website, but I remember. God, when was that? That might have been 06, 07, somewhere in there. But back before when everybody was on Twitter and using that to bitch about the team, they used to go onto websites of message boards, and there was one particular one that I used to go on a lot, and I remember Break Even Fever was sweeping the board.
Yes, that was our good friend Mike at letsgosharks.com.
Oh, Feeder Mike.
Feeder Mike. Shout out to you, bud. Yeah, that was when the second that broke out, it's like, oh gosh. And what's funny is that season they won a game, they lost a game. They won a game, they lost a game.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of ironic with that. So shifting along, we're not going to talk about the Dallas game because really at this point there's too much excitement for what's going to go down Saturday. So with that, I'm going to touch up on a couple of things. I'm going to have a full article or column on Pucknology.net later tonight, but a few things about the Stadium Series. First things first, if you're not parking, use public transportation or carpool. It's going to be a nightmare, and especially for many who haven't parked at Levi's with the Niners this season, it's going to be a little rough. Rest assured, if you are parking, use the directions that are on your parking pass. That's highly imperative, just because that's how they are actually trying to get the parking and the traffic to work properly. Some lots are okay to tailgate, some lots are not okay to tailgate. So also check on that. Yes, sir.
From what I've heard, all lots are okay to tailgate in, but not all lots will accept an open flame.
Right, not all lots will accept an open flame. I know I think it's a VIP yellow lot that has strictly no tailgating or open flame permitted. Basically, you can hang out and have a sandwich and whatnot. However, if you want to fire up the barbecue, probably not your best bet. With that being said, the schedule for this is this. That's how redundant. 3 o'clock, the parking lots open up. Okay, so you all get in, get there early. I would highly suggest. I know everybody that I have with me is going to leave early from Concord. just so that we're kind of in the queue to get in there. So um, at 4 o'clock, the league has been pretty quiet about announcing this, but I'll let you in on a little secret. There's going to be a Spectator Plaza Fan Fest. And if you've been to Levi Stadium for a 49ers game, it'll be in the Faithful Mile. What that means is that you must have a ticket to get in there. What that also means is if you were to go to the Spectator Plaza and want to go back out, you can't unless yes,
Hold on.
AJ.
Let me ask you one question. Do you need a ticket to get into that party you're talking about? Do you just need to show what appears to be a ticket, or do they actually scan it?
You will actually scan it.
Oh,
So,
sons of bitches. Okay.
so and there's no re-entry for that. So you got to be careful with that, especially since yours truly is having a tweet up at 4:30 in Red Lot 1. Which I'll promote a little later. But nonetheless, 4 o'clock, that's when the Spectator Plaza will open up. Again, if you want to go back into the parking lot, that means you are not going to get back into the stadium for the night. So when you're for sure wanting to go in, make sure you are wanting to go in. At 5 o'clock, the gates will actually open into the stadium to get in. You are battling now, I think, close to 70,000 or 69,000 fans since they added seats for this game, which, by the way, I think was it earlier this morning they officially announced that it is a sellout, which
it's quote unquote officially sold out, yet they were even announcing promoting during tonight's games, if you buy this, we'll make sure that you can get tickets in there. So yeah.
Yeah, so while it's a sellout, not really. Nonetheless, I don't see Wayne Gretzky promoting this game on NHL Tonight two nights beforehand, saying, come to the game and we'll also give you a $25 NHL.com gift card like he did for the game in Dodger Stadium. What this also means, though...
Wait, hold on. They were doing that in what Luc Robitaille called the greatest hockey city in the world? That's amazing.
I mean, I'm shocked. I can't believe they would say that. LA and Hockey City? I mean, it's...
No.
Luc Robitaille says it must be legit.
Right? Luc Robitaille said, the greatest hockey city in the world. There are people that are... There are people in Canada that still haven't gotten up off the floor from laughing at
that. Did he get that from Dickie Dunn as his first report after he announced that the Charlestown Chiefs were moving to Florida?
I have no idea, but I remember very vividly, parked at my couch, that this was opening night for the Sharks, and yeah, they had to sit there and watch that banner be raised, and wow, that really motivated the Sharks this season, didn't it? But they sat there and I remember even some of the tweets that were going on like 2 days later, people saying, "Hey, did that banner raising ceremony for LA, did that end yet? I'm still wondering about that." But when Robitaille said LA is the greatest hockey city in the world, like you could hear all of Canada just fall down and I mean, oh my God, that was great.
Oh boy. Yeah, that no comment. We'll just leave it with that. So again, 5 o'clock, the gates will open. That's when you can actually go into the stadium. You are battling 68 to 69,000 fans to get into their seats within a 2-hour span. So plan accordingly, get there early, use public transportation. I would highly recommend that you do not use Amtrak because there's not going to be a train that leaves after the game. Their last train that gets to Santa Clara at the station that's right near Levi Stadium is like at 9:20, and that's going to be somewhere in the middle of the third period. So that's not a great option. Ace Train, I believe, is not running for this game either, so keeping a heads up on that.
That's what I've heard as well.
Yeah, BART will take you, I think, what was it, to like I think you get to Fremont, and then there's a
Bus service.
VTA bus that'll take you there. If you're on the peninsula, if you're taking Caltrain, you get off at the Monument, Mountain View Station, and then transfer through VTA Light Rail. That'll take you right to the stadium. Um, so there's ways around it. I will have the full rundown on Pucknology.net. I believe the NHL has a Stadium Series guide online as well. But the two things that you're going to need the most to know is what bags you can bring. For the ladies, you can bring your 4.5-inch by 6.5-inch clutch bag, especially if it has a shoulder strap or a wristlet. Otherwise, you're using your one gallon Ziploc bag, or you get one of these things, which is one of the NFL approved bags. I know they were selling these at the Shark store for like $12. I think I need to see some at a Safeway for like $10. And these are pretty simple. This one is a little more fancier, has a zip bag, but something this size is what you're looking at that you can bring into the game. You're also okay to bring a blanket.
Wow, this is like watching the Home Shopping Network. Keep going.
Oh, shut up! I'm informing the guests because when somebody tries to bring a backpack in and they're like, "Oh man, why can't I bring a backpack in?" Well, there's your reason why.
And for the fans coming from Southern California, you take the 5 to the 152 to the 101. You get off on the Great America Parkway, and you make a right on the Tasman. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out right there.
Oh,
and that's how you get to the hockey game.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, AJ. You've been also hearing a number of things about how great it will be with the phone. First things first, you're going to be taking a lot of pictures. Make sure you empty out your camera roll. There's also the Levi Stadium app that you'll be hearing promoting all day long. You can.
Let me ask you this: are you aware, because I've only been to Levi's once, and it was for a practice. It was very first time they'd ever opened, so there's a few things that they still were in flux. Do you know if they have phone charging stations like they do at AT&T?
They don't have those. However, that's where I'm getting to. Bring your plug and your cord. They do have plug outlets that you're more than welcome to use. I highly recommend, and this is something that the Niners actually gave out to their season ticket holders with their season ticket holder package. I know they gave actual gifts. How is that possible? It's just called I think they call it a lipstick charger. My girlfriend got this for me. It's like $12 to like $20 at the most. You charge this up, and then you connect your whole cord to it, and then you'll be able to charge yourself up like so, and that should hold you through the majority of the game. I even saw this one at Dick's Sporting Goods in Pleasant Hill for like $18. It'll do something, and you won't be out of power by the end of the second period. So that's your own QVC shopping update. Oh, and AJ, I know, what was that? That's a Mophie?
Yeah, the Mophie juice pack. This thing rocks, man. Basically doubles the size of your battery on your iPhone. I don't know if they have one for Android. I'm not an Android user, but it works badass for my iPhone. They just came out with the one for the 6. So if you're a 6 user and was wondering where it is, it came out.
How much is that, by the way?
I think it's like right around 100. And
yeah,
and if you got the cash, it's one of those things. But I'm sure Amazon will give you 2-day shipping. You'll have it by Friday.
Right.
Our compadre Chris has mentioned that we were very remiss in that we didn't actually explain to the California fans what the hockey is. This is a game that's played on ice. They use one of these. It's called a puck.
Oh boy.
See, now that would be a funny joke if LA didn't have two of these. That's the problem.
Amen.
But another comment, which was while you were doing your whole sale.
My QVC.
Oh man, dude! One of my favorite guys, Patrick, tweeted it. He's like, "Item number 2035 is this lovely clear Shark Stadium Series bag. Normally $12, but today the special is just $10 for you, our Pucknology After Dark fans."
Again, I'm just trying to inform everybody because I don't want you to be like, "Oh my God, let me get a picture of this. This place is going nuts."
Yeah, but hold on. The bottom line is, well, I guess I was going to say, if you take your car, the bottom line is you have to hoof your ass back to your car to put your crap back in the car, and then you come back or whatever. But yeah, if you took public transit, you better be willing to throw some stuff away.
Right. Absolutely. So that's basically it for the stadium series stuff that you need to bring. We'll talk about the Sharks tweet now. 4:30 to 5:15 at Red Lot 1. That's where we will all gather. We'll probably gather in my car. Probably somewhere close to where the security gates are as you were to head towards the stadium. We will have, I will be myself giving out the buttons, the infamous buttons, where will I put your Twitter handle on, mingle with everybody that you will see. AJ showing you, talk AJ.
Sorry, I was muted so you could do your thing, but yes, here is my button from a tweet up from last season, as you can see, and then a previous tweet up. I still got them.
That's awesome.
with our little group of collectible stuffs.
Absolutely. So we'll have another one like that. Teal City Crew is going to be up here, I think, starting Friday. And in fact, I think he's having some type of get-together Friday night before the game somewhere in downtown San Jose. You can follow him, Teal City Crew. I think he's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. For more information on that. But also our good friends at the Diehards Company, the makers of some of the best sports shirts in the Bay Area, and it is all Bay Area made now. They are going to hook up many Sharks fans with the unofficial tweet-up towel, which is going to be very nice. I saw them. They absolutely rock. I can't wait for all you to have it. Let me put it to you this way, because there's a possibility I could F up this all.
Oops. Oh, sorry. Wrong sport. Sorry.
Nice. But it's orange, so no. Now you throw me off with the orange. My gosh. I know pitchers and catchers report tomorrow, but this is ridiculous.
Well, hold on. I'm sorry. We do have a question on Twitter. Are the buttons a free gift with purchase of a Stadium Series bag? Your free gift with purchase.
That is so not cool. Oh man, thanks a lot, Patrick. I appreciate that. That's funny. The buttons are free with no purchase at all. My point is I only have 100 of them, so get there early. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to be. Okay, first off, they cost a bunch of money out of my pocket, so
You go with the old standard. You snooze, you lose.
Right. Or how Low Breezy put on Twitter tonight. Apparently, this is the motto for the Stadium Series, considering the Sharks' woes so far. Stadium Series motto: win or lose, we will booze.
That's right.
Which
Did I?
is the best ever.
I heard something. Now I'm trying to remember what it was. I hear so much between the Twitter and everything. Something about Mike Rathje being involved in something that he was going to show up to some event, or there was something. Anybody hear anything about that? I thought I heard Brody mention something about it on the radio
I
or something.
haven't heard anything about Rathje doing something. I'm sure that there's probably going to be like some former Sharks probably signing something at Spectator Plaza.
Now, have you heard anything as part of our QVC experience? We are actually getting a request to find out how much the plant is behind Puck Guy. How much for the? I like it. How much for the little plant behind the man in the shirt?
It could be $59.99 or $49.99. But on today's special value, this fake plant, which was purchased in 1987, can be yours for only $39.99.
There you go. And so get in soon. You know
If you
what?
don't believe it's fake, here you go.
You know what? All the lines just totally lit up.
I can't get the darn thing back in.
Yeah, I heard something about Ratchy. Something. But the thing I was going to ask you, have you heard? Do you have anything that you can mention with regards to any of the pregame ceremonies? Like, should we expect to see anything from like Ricci or Nolan or Ratchy, any former Sharks, anything about who's playing? Like they had Kiss at the L.A. Anaheim game. Is like anything about that, or anything about who is doing the ceremonial puck drop? Please tell me it's not like the mayor of Santa Clara or something.
I certainly hope not, considering it was Gretzky who dropped the puck in L.A. last year. I haven't heard anything as to who's performing here or anything like that. The league is very quiet about what's going on with that.
Really? Because Kiss couldn't shut up about it last season. Uh-oh, breaking news. Do we just get a tweet in that has all the information?
No, but we have my good friend Yuki is asking.
Oh, did she just give you a better offer on the plant?
She's actually asking free shipping for the plant.
Okay, all right, Yuki, you got to follow me and I'll follow you because that's too funny.
At Yuki Sano.
Yeah, no, I got her on here. Okay.
But wow.
Yeah. Well,
I got to do the show from here a lot more often apparently.
Right.
Maybe I can get this plant for $100. We'll be in really good shape. I could actually buy an authentic Stadium Series jersey.
But so nothing on the entertainment, huh? That's weird because Kiss was tweeting out about it like 2 months before. Right,
and I know everybody was hoping for Metallica.
Of course.
But I believe they're on tour.
If it's the Metallica's not on tour. Are you kidding?
No, I thought they were doing something the night of the Stadium Series.
They're not on tour. Maybe they're doing a special show. They're not on tour. Oh man, you made me think. Oh, you know what it is? As long as it's not Train. I know that like Damon Bruce like has a big problem with Pat Monahan or something like that because Pat Monahan didn't he do the national anthem at the first 49er game? Then yes. he also performed at the San Francisco Giants the last parade. It was like, oh, and then he was on something else. Like he might have like performed at like either the NFC or AFC championship games this season or so, where it was just like, when the hell did Pat Monahan get so huge?
Right? Yeah, it's it wouldn't surprise me if it was Train, if you want to be honest here.
No.
And if we want to start taking guesses on things, I could see a 49er home game staple being the national anthem and Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah, maybe. But
I
then,
mean,
then what are you gonna do? Are they gonna? You think they're gonna like have? Okay, now I'm just throwing this out there, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably the odds-on favorite that Joe Montana drops the ceremonial puck.
I would say either Joe or Jerry Rice, although he might not be able to drop the puck because he's still got too much stickum on his hands.
That's hey
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Try the
Uh,
veal.
exactly. Um,
But
so
yes,
with
Yuki is saying absolutely not train. Um, and I don't think it's going to be Green Day. So who knows what they're going to pull out. Uh,
right,
it makes you wonder why the hell they went with Kiss last year. I mean, they all live in L.A., but that was always a New York band for the longest time. So I'm not really sure what the hell that out of it. We're getting we're getting breaking news from Patrick, who says it will be Journey because the NHL loves to go after washed up '80s acts.
ouch.
Well,
Now the question is that with Neil Sean, or we can
Steve Perry.
actually have Steve Perry?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's nothing. You look at how well Metallica Night went off at the Tank. I mean, there were lines for those shirts. And in fact, I remember being there for Metallica Night, and granted, it was against the Kings, but that was the first time that I can remember in a long time where I'm sitting in the seats and I'm looking around and I'm not seeing pockets of empty seats. It was full, and you could really feel it when you were on the mezzanine during the intermissions. It definitely was a packed house. So if it, as Daryl was saying, if it worked, why not have Metallica out there again? I think that would be great. So maybe they're keeping it under
I
wraps.
I completely concur. And looking at their website again, they had a concert on the 9th. That's it for a while. So maybe they are opening up. I thought I saw them have something. That being said, break out Metallica. Why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
I'd go with that. Or hell,
The
Sammy Hagar. He's
right,
local.
Sammy Hagar is right up there in Mill Valley. Um, the thing with this is that you have to remember this is an NHL event game, not a Sharks home game.
Yeah.
So Sharks really don't have much say as to what goes on for entertainment wise. Uh, you would think that the league would kind of try to pay homage to Northern California, just like they are with the field. The layout of the field is going to look awesome. So
Well, I'm interested to see how it all plays off. Because I don't know about you, but seeing them like when they played at Dodger Stadium, I don't know. It's something about when they play in baseball parks. There's something about it that I'm just kind of meh about. I don't know what it is, but I liked it while like having it at the Big House in Michigan or wherever. Didn't they do
or
one
in
in?
Buffalo.
Yeah, I like it when they do it in the football stadiums. I know, obviously, of course, AT&T would have been the whole picturesque thing with the Bay Bridge and all the things that that when they cut away to all the B-roll shots, just like they do for Niners stuff, you're gonna see Coit Tower and Fisherman's Wharf, Pier 39, Bay Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge, yada yada yada. You're going to see all those things when they cut away from the live shots because showing Alviso on a Saturday afternoon, not that exciting of a visual. So they're going to show all the San Francisco stuff, but for the actual game, I love that they're doing it in a football stadium, and the fact that they have quote unquote sold it out. Either way, it definitely sold more than LA and Anaheim last season, which I think is kind of surprising. But hey, works for us. I guess we got just a few more hockey fans up here than they do down in SoCal.
Yeah, it's I believe it will be I think the fourth or fifth largest NHL outdoor game. We will be part of history. It will be I mean, and the only thing I could think of is unless Anaheim were to host an outdoor game at like the Rose Bowl or the LA Coliseum, Um, it will be, for quite some time, the largest attended uh, hockey game in the state of California.
Yeah, but and you know what? And which is amazing to me because just from all the years of listening to Gary Radnich, people up here don't care about hockey. I don't get it. I don't understand how they're selling out
Right?
70,000 seats. People don't care about hockey.
Right? I mean, they care about hockey. Although I heard from one of my Giants friends, Baseball Bridget, on Twitter. Apparently, they had a 30-minute segment on the WNBA today on Gary and Larry on KMBR. But let's not talk
Wow.
about the rink being built in Levi Stadium right now.
Yeah, but they did have Pavelski on KMBR yesterday for a nice little talk at 3:30 yesterday, so that was cool. I haven't heard any. I haven't, I follow the KMBR's Twitter. I follow the 95.7's Twitter to see if they ever put anything about Sharks-related content coming on. KMBR tweeted out the Pavelski interview. Uh, like I've said before, I have no idea when Brody comes on 95.7 because they never promote it, or if they ever have any players on or coaches or anything, they don't promote it. So, their loss, I suppose. We did got a couple more comments here from Daryl. He says he thought the Kings and Ducks blew it last year. If that game had been at the Rose Bowl, probably would have had 50,000 more people attend, which it wouldn't surprise me if that is. I mean, dude, Chavez Ravine is a whole, man. Not to say that getting in and out of Santa Clara is some big party either, but I've heard just horror stories of getting in and out of Chavez Ravine. And then and Hannah brings up a good point, and this is something that we touched on earlier, is that considering how many advertisements that you still see for tickets, there's a lot of people are doubting that it's actually sold out. Like, it might be technically sold out, that those tickets that they're giving you if you sign up for a package, those have been purchased and they're there and allocated for giveaways, what have you. But we do have another tweet from NSH. If the Sharks continue losing like this, do they start listening to offers for Pavelski or Couture? And I say wholeheartedly, no effing way. You want to listen to offers from Marlowe or Thornton? Sure, but you can't. First off, maybe Couture, and that's a huge maybe. Pavs is a definitive no, because you'd be trading away your next captain. And I mean, and is there any doubt at this point that anybody else deserves that C more?
Right, and if you, not to spoiler alert, those who haven't seen episode 3 of the Stadium series, but Pavelski kind of stood up in the Sharks locker room prior to the game against Arizona, and we all know what happened in that game. Pavelski scores a hat trick and helps the team win the game. Kind of makes you wonder, maybe this is his team, but we'll see.
Well, and it was pointed out on I think it was a interview that Brody did on one of the local medias, that when have you ever, like, maybe one of the reasons why they're skeptical about naming Pavelski the captain right now is, when have you ever seen a guy be named captain while skating with two people on the team that were former captains?
Well, I mean,
Ever.
that totally makes sense. However, here's the problem, though. Those former captains are going to be there for 2 more years unless you somehow convince them to get rid of their no movement clause.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think
what, you're going to go with an alternate captain with that? I mean, by then, I think Pavelski will be in his early 30s if he isn't already. I can't.
Yeah. Well, obviously Couture and Pavelski are the future. That they are the next Thornton and Marlowe, so to speak. So
right. But I mean, Pavelski's already 30 years old. I mean, if you wait 2 years because you're afraid of there are already 2 captains already on the team, he'll be 33 by then.
Yeah, no, it's
And then by then, we'll be already talking about needing a new captain.
well. Who do you see um, leaving in the off season?
Oh boy. Hannon, I hope the door does hit your ass on the way out because you're too slow. Um,
That'll be the only way to get his ass moving. Somebody
right.
else hits it.
I could see Shepard leaving. I don't think he's brought too much this season.
And
To be,
UFA, so
yeah, I mean you're looking at UFA. Um, you could maybe see Desjardins go.
hmm
Maybe time again. I
can
don't
can
I
we
don't know.
can we
I don't know.
please end the John Scott experiment, please?
I think that'll probably be gone too. Let's see. Here's the problem though, is if you're gonna go with the youngsters and such, you pretty much already have so many youngsters on this team that if they get hurt, there's not much left for you to call up um, from the AHL.
hmm Well, see,
I
I'm
mean, we're already seeing
thinking.
that with the defense, and look what that's leading us to. We're sending down what 2 nights ago was our number 4 defenseman, and now he's sitting. Now he's some way halfway between here and Worcester, and his team is stuck in St. John's earlier
Yeah.
today. So
Well, I don't have a problem saying goodbye to any of the UFAs, be it Kennedy, Desjardins, Niemi, what have you. I'm missing some. Oh, Hannon. I don't have a problem saying goodbye to any of those. I have a problem not getting any type of a value. I don't expect anything to get anything for Hannon. Really don't expect to get anything much in the way for Shepard. Maybe a little bit for Desi because he is a good fourth line grinder, thumper kind of guy. Might be a little more built for the Eastern Conference. And then, of course, you would hope to get something for Nemo. Maybe something for Kennedy, although it's hard to, expect much for a guy that you seem to scratch more often than play. Um, and who seems to have been bitten by the injury bug a lot. Uh, I don't know. It just bums me out to see guys that are going to walk and you don't get any value for them whatsoever. I mean, I guess at the very least you get their salary off the books and you can make moves that way. I would just hope to get something out of it, but I'm kind of I don't see any of the youngsters leaving. I don't see Hurdle going. I don't see Nieto going, but obviously not Carlson, probably not Goodrow. Um, Probably not Mueller, although I still think Mueller needs more time, more seasoning. Down. They tried to bring Rathje on too fast, in my opinion, back in the day, and I mean, and how much crap did that guy take over his tenure as a Shark? Um, they just.
deservingly so, but yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, there was a reason why they called him Sloth G, is that he was incredibly slow, but at least he was he was pretty defensively sound. He would clear the crease. He was, I have a couple memories where it's like, oh my God, you slow molasses moving dude, but there was times that he could be a little bit of a thumper. But I look at it now and I just say, you know what? It seems pretty clear that the future is Pavelski with the C, Couture with an A, Vlasic with an A, and try to build around those pieces in the future. And if they can I'm all for. See, this is the whole thing that I'm also kind of wondering that if maybe, and obviously this is spitballing and thinking just out of my ass, it almost makes me wonder, like, if Wilson is kind of hoping that the Sharks do in fact shit can the season and miss the playoffs, that maybe Marlowe and Thornton are more receptive to waiving their no trades and getting some value for them, or is it just a case of, hey, those are players that want to live here, and yeah, okay, play here too.
But see, here's that thing. It's just you know how risky that is business wise to shit can the season.
I'm not
Um,
saying doing it on purpose. I'm saying at this, that like we were talking about, that just a week ago they were second. There are
a solid second.
the solidly second, and the clear deficiencies with this team are defensively. Well, you have space under the cap. You have a couple things that you can do, some moves that are, that could potentially be made, yet you've gone completely silent on it. As far as we know, we don't know who's being talked to, but in the space of 5 days, you've fallen from 2 to probably 10th by Thursday at the latest. So then it comes down to, well, with the deadline looming, is at that point, do you become sellers? But in that regard of maybe you reapproach Thornton and Marlowe in the offseason and say, look, we're clearly on this in this rebuilding process, and by the time we're ready to ramp up and compete and have a couple pieces in place, your contracts are going to be over, and maybe there's not going to be room for you, or whatever the case may be. I mean, Thornton to me still is a valuable piece to this puzzle here, but I think I'm done with Marlowe. I was actually kind of done with Marlowe last season.
The tough part though with being done with Marlowe is, and Chris has said this before, um, there
He faces the toughest
Mr.
match.
Shark.
Huh?
He's Mr. Shark.
Well, yeah, that too. But I just, this.
Because what I mean, and we've talked about post-Teal syndrome before with like Michael Hanzus and Marcel Gotch, and on and on and on. Um, but
Dude, okay, I'm sorry. We have breaking news. Holy crap, dude. Crispy Churro with the zero just won the fucking internet today.
oh, you by the way.
Dude, okay. For any of you watching this that aren't following, it's his call sign, whatever it's called, at Crispy, spelled just the way it sounds, Churro, CHURR 0. Dude just nailed it. Oh my god. Greatest fucking ever, dude. I'm changing that to my cover photo on Facebook, dude. That is phenomenal. That's good knowledge right there. Holy crap, dude. That is amazing.
Oh, that's just wow.
Oh man. Dude, that is so righteous.
That is great.
So
Crispy
righteous,
Churro,
dude.
you just won Twitter tonight.
I mean, that was dude,
Boy.
that was for me. That was a mic drop moment right there. That was just.
And with that, why don't we just wrap it up?
Hold
Oh
on.
my
How
god.
do you where's the thing to share stuff? How did you share that one photo that one
You
time?
retweet it
No, on where you
Oh,
shared it in the
oh.
Google Hangout.
on the under Google Toolbox.
I don't know. Bear with me, people, if I can figure this out, because you have to
While
see
he's
this.
figuring that out, we'll talk a little more. Daryl also mentioned at this point all the UFAs can walk this team won't win a cup with any of them. This team is a one and done team at best. Tend to agree depending on who they match up. If they get Nashville or St. Louis, yeah, they're probably done for. I think they have an outside chance against Anaheim, or Vancouver, or even Calgary. So apparently now it's getting retweeted. That's terrific. That's just
Okay, now are you able to see my screen? Is it showing up? If it is,
you just keep talking. Go for it.
all right. No, it's just I wanted to make sure everybody saw this. This is amazing. This is amazeballs. This is one of the funniest goddamn things I've ever seen in my life. There was somebody else who was asking. Oh, okay, Patrick Generation X-wing is dying right now. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Oh boy, oh boy. See, this is
Uh,
what happens. We lost by 4 goals, and we're laughing and smiling.
because
It,
pitchers and
we,
catchers report tomorrow.
ah.
No, I
I'm,
totally.
I'm looking at Catherine Tappan on NHL Network right now. Don't talk to me about pitchers and catchers reporting. My goodness, heck,
Well, you know what it
I have
is.
media passes. I can actually talk to her.
Well, you know what it is for me, a Bay Area sports fan uh, person. I am completely and utterly disgusted with the 49ers. Like, I'm not interested in watching their games. I'm just totally sick of what happened, how they screwed everything in the side of a year. I'm just amazed by that. And yeah, I'm a Giants fan, so I look forward to what they're going to do. But let's be honest, it's an odd year. We know that shit doesn't happen in odd years for them. But the Sharks have always been numero uno on the list, and just to see, I don't know, just to see it from the get-go, the way that it started, the off, just like we've talked about ad nauseum. It's the addition of John Scott, the retaining of Hannon, the firing of Drew frickin' Remenda, the addition of the skimpy little outfits on the Ice Girls, which I think is retarded, the addition of the CGI graphics behind the net on home games. There's just, I thought there was the one good thing that's come out of this season is the fact that we're bringing the AHL team out here. That's the only good thing I can think of that has happened in the last year. The rest of it has just gone down the shitter for me. I like your update. Let me see. We're looking at a couple more.
And right, there hasn't been much to do about anything. We don't get this Stadium Series game. There really is nothing that happened great in the off season, and it still pisses me off that here we are, 8 to 10 months later, and we're still talking about last off season. Outside McGinn, Scott, Carlson, which is pretty much his best thing he did, the organization did all season, the including getting the Stadium Series game. Was there anything to motivate us to want to go to the Shark Tank this season? They
Yeah,
haven't shown anything. You would have thought that seeing the Kings raise a cup banner, which it's their fault that they have a cup banner up there, another cup banner up there. You would have thought that would have motivated this team, would have motivated the organization.
but
Unfortunately,
they're a
they
tomorrow
just
team.
decided to. Who gives if it's a tomorrow team? You're telling me we were one loss, so one win away from not going for it all again? No, I think it's ridiculous how
That's you know
you.
what that is a great point. I'm wondering if had the whole, it was the hashtag, it was 3-0, I wonder if they lose that series in 7 as they did, but instead of losing 4 in a row to go out, that if it was like the previous playoff series where it was just the home team won every time, and if you at least went out that way and you only like lost game 7 by a goal, maybe a second goal because of an empty netter, then is there the same reaction, I suppose? Do they try to retool a little bit better, or does Wilson still come out and say, we're going younger and this is a tomorrow team and we're going to give some responsibility to the kids who want it and ask for it and who demand it, and
If they
does
were
that still happen?
if they were loaded like they were in when the AHL team was in Kentucky, or early on when the team was in Cleveland, I could say, yeah, you could do that because you had up and coming stars. You had Chi-Chi, you had Mahalik, you had Bernier, you had all these guys that had a promising future. Right now, is there anybody that's worthy enough that's not on the team right now to come up and that would make a huge difference? And in a way, kind of like how Pavelski came up. He was with in the AHL for what, maybe a month before he got called up to the Sharks and had that sweet game-winning goal, like his second or third game in the NHL. Do we have anybody in the minor leagues that's going to be good like that?
Well,
The only thing maybe
Pavelski.
would be Godolbin.
Well, I still think it'd be early, but the Pavelski seems to be the exception to the rule. I mean, how many times did we call up somebody like a Grant Stevenson or something who looks great for first two games and then just absolutely ghost town disappears?
Right. No,
So
totally.
I just I don't know. Oh,
I
another
mean,
question from Josh.
Even
Oh,
Carlson has gone, a little bit on a dry spell of late.
yeah. Well, we got one from another one from Josh. It says, if the Sharks beat the Kings last season and didn't screw the pooch, do they get the Stadium Series game this season? I'd say yeah, because I think it was in the works before the Cup was even won last year. It took
Right,
some
right.
time to get this shit
Tator
going.
Tator said that they had started talks in January, and the league kind of was already looking at San Jose. I believe the other options were Arizona and Minnesota. They were considering trying to get it, at the Diamondbacks ballpark to have it towards, Super Bowl week. But then the NFL decided to have their Pro Bowl in Arizona as well. So that
Put the kibosh
of,
on it.
yeah, kind of kiboshed that idea for making them, rain on their parade.
I think it also
Um,
helped having Levi's a brand new diamond, to show
Right.
off.
Even though that they were saying that, Stanford was in the running and AT&T Park was in the running, which,
Honestly, I don't think Stanford was ever in the running.
I mean, it would be a little more intimate. I think they were concerned that the Sharks wouldn't be able to sell out completely, which I'm glad they proved wrong. Um, but yeah, I think AT&T Park would have been nice too. But the NHL has said they prefer doing it in football stadiums because it kind of goes, um, you're not squeezing in the rink between the first and third,
Yeah.
um, which makes sense. But also, the league never said that they would never come back here, especially at the press conference in September. Uh,
I could.
so if this goes really well, I wouldn't be surprised down the road that they might come back here,
Oh, absolutely. I'd say, well,
especially in San Francisco.
yeah. If the Stadium Series games, if they once again, if they do it like they did this season, where you just have the one instead of having the bazillions of them that they had last season, and they're not even doing the Canadian Heritage one this year for some reason. So you have the January 1st game, and then this Saturday, and that's it. Um, and then I believe they've already announced next year because Colorado's getting one, right?
Yeah, Colorado's getting one, and so is Minnesota.
Yeah. Okay. Which I'm
And
happy about
then
because thank God, how many times can we see a ballpark in New York or Boston or Washington or Pittsburgh or Philadelphia? I mean, for Christ's sakes, man, spread the wealth a little bit.
But
I
that's the catch is that the Winter Classic is going back to Boston next year.
Of course, and see that's my problem. But anyway, I could see the Sharks getting a stadium game in say another 8 to 10 years after some other teams have gotten it. But of course, I would say though I would damn near guarantee unless the overall attendance just keeps piling and piling. I would say next time it would definitely be at AT&T, because they don't, you don't want to have it at Levi's again if there's another venue you can do it at, or if for some reason by that time maybe Oakland gets its act together, whether it's with the Raiders or the A's or both. But maybe by then you have a third facility in the Bay Area that you could potentially look at as an option.
Yeah, I mean, if Oakland gets their stuff together, they might be optioning for that. However, I think the city was so gung ho for AT&T that it was trying to figure out where it was going to go for this year. And I believe down the road, Winnipeg is supposed to get a Heritage Classic, so that might be coming up in like a couple of years. But yeah, the other catch too is the Sharks have been successful. This is partly a way of pleasing the fans with their loyal and dedication, but it also, you got to feel a competitive team. I mean, you look at the teams that have gotten a stadium, a series game, or an outdoor game. Outside Buffalo, at the first Winter Classic, all the teams that have played outdoor games recently have been in somewhat contention. And with the Sharks kind of going on the downhill, it's nice to see that they caught it at a good time.
I didn't even realize, I'm taking a look in here, so we for only two guys, we sure can't talk a lot. We've already gone an hour 45, so I'm thinking it's probably time to start wrapping it up. I realized, we went long because it was an early end to the game. We have to deal with our third compadre. We'll see. We will talk to him and see about if we're going to do this after the Dallas game on Saturday, or Thursday, excuse me. Obviously, I don't think there's any way in hell we're doing one after the Stadium Series game, so we'll have to catch you after, on the next one, the following Thursday.
Thursday might be tough for me. I
Well, clearly two guys can pull this off because we've been going.
No. I see that because I try not to boast myself, but I've been given the okay. I got it today that I will be able to skate on Levi's stadium ice on Thursday as part of the media skate.
You better wear a GoPro, bro.
Yeah, well, I only have an iPhone, so if anybody wants me to let them borrow a GoPro, that'd be great. Otherwise, I could possibly check in after the game at the reception and just give a quick hello, while I'm getting off the ice. So, but yeah, definitely check out for my Twitter and on Pucknology Twitter. I'll definitely have pictures if I get out there. I'll definitely be out for Media Day on Friday, and then we'll have the Big Shark Suite Up on Saturday. And like me and AG already have, even though apparently he's turning pink and red.
Oh my God, dude! You know what? The next time we know that we're only going to be too deep for this, we have to get Patrick as a fill-in, if anything, just for comedy relief. Because I mentioned that tonight, because it was an early start, the game ended early, and he said, "Yep, early into the game, it was over about 5:25 Pacific time." Oh, true that, bro. True that.
Amen. We'll give you a shout out that he's Generation X Wing on Twitter.
At Generation X Wing, follow him. He's got some very funny stuff. He does a lot of animated GIFs and memes, and we go back and forth with some pretty funny photos. It's a lot of fun, and sometimes we get involved with Chelina Goldman or NHL ties, and it ends up, especially when the game starts going south, that seems to be the funnier we start getting. So
Well, let's hope you guys don't get too funny then, because we can't have any more games go south. We have 23 left, and we have 3 games, uh, you know, ahead of everybody else. We can't afford to do that anymore. Um, with that being said, I think it's time to wrap it up. We play Dallas Thursday, 5:30. Um, AJ and Chris should be on. If not, AJ will contact Gentry. We'll figure a way to get on here. I'll try to check in from Levi's if I can. If not, Saturday, big day, hands down, probably, especially now, probably the most important game regular season wise in the Sharks' history. Um, and for fans, no black armor, no white jerseys, don't give me any of that crap. You need to reveal your teal. Am I right, AJ?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I do believe Kevin Kurz had mentioned that we get the Stadium Series jerseys twice for home games after the Stadium Series. We'll get them 2 more times at the tank, and
And one more time for black armor, and that's it.
yeah,
And
and
that's probably the end of black armor. Thank God.
with any luck, and then looking forward, just along with Dallas and LA on Saturday. I think the next 10 games are key. You've got 8 out of the next 10 at home. This is the time to make it or break it. Then you have the pivotal trip back east. If they don't start that trip back east, they take advantage of having the next 8 of 10 at home. Then by then I'm waving my white flag. Just got really 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 big. But let me see, you said the deadline is on March 2nd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have 4 more games between now and then, and 3 of those are at home. So who knows? But rule of thumb: watch for interesting scratches, especially that last game, because once a deal is made, you don't want somebody to get injured. So on the game on Saturday against the Senators, watch for scratches that game. It's been known to happen when a player that you're not used to normally seeing scratched, all of a sudden you find out. I mean, we all know what happened with. Remember the game when we got Thornton? It was like we were playing Dallas, and you're like, "Where the hell's Brad Stewart? Where the hell's Marco Sturm?" And then you get the announcement, and you're like, "Oh, there it is." Love the hashtag "end of an error" with Black Armor. Love that. All right, take us home.
Rest in peace. Sharks play Thursday at Dallas, 5:30. We will try to get on the air for that one, just because we've been kind of doing it live the whole week up till Saturday, where you're gonna rock your teal, you're gonna get loud, you're gonna get crazy. Be safe. Let's not get too mean. Like AJ and I say, reveal your teal. I want to see all teal in the parking lot for the tweet up on Saturday, and I expect to see all of you there. Okay, a good majority of you, because I can't convince AJ to go to the game yet.
I'm working, man. I'm working, but the official.
You're working? Okay, how's that possible?
The unofficial after party is at the local 102 Bar and Grill in Sunnyvale. Okay, so after the game, come by. We'll have a beer, play some tunes for you. You have a good time, and I'll even, if they win, I'll play the goal horn and the Gary Glitter. I have it on my DJ system already, so you'd be good to go when you guys start walking in. Anytime I see someone wearing a jersey that comes in this Saturday night after that game, I'm going to hit the horn.
All right. You heard it here. So in Sunnyvale, where again?
It's at a place called the Local 102 Bar and Grill. It's at the corner of Fremont and Sunnyvale, Saratoga.
Sounds like an all hits radio station. Local 102 in Sunnyvale.
You know, it's a fun little bar. It's a nice little dive. It's a fun place to be. But yeah, it's a newer place, and I keep giving the guy a little bit of grief about the name. I said it sounds like Teamsters and union members hang out at this place, but we'll get there.
All right. Well, have a great night until Thursday, and definitely until Saturday. Keep it real, keep it fresh, and keep it real fresh. Good night. Go Sharks. Peace the fuck out.
Peace the puck out.